everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Abuja. Let's give you a taste of what is happening. We were live earlier with the Idris Wase campaign organization for the speakership position, and we're getting some live pictures from the ground where he's officially declaring his interest to becoming the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Let me allow you, he's just a few minutes away, climbed onto the podium, and he's still speaking at that event where some of his colleagues and APC stakeholders and other members elect of the House of Representatives in the 10th National Assembly are gathered. Let me allow you to listen just briefly to him.
To ensure that we collaborate with the executive and carry out the functions as we are expected to do in terms of creating and putting out laws for the good governance of our country. And then there shall be physical discipline and economic prosperity under our agenda. We believe that social welfare schemes and programs which are started by the government of Buhari will be sustained, and we shall ensure that we expand and Nigerians benefit. Respected colleagues, I want to believe that with this, I appreciate every one of you here present, and by the grace of God, if you give me your mandate, my colleagues, we shall do you proud. We shall create a very vibrant legislature that will be that will stand the test of time among all nations of nations. May I, on this note, thank you for all coming, and I still appeal to you to do the needful by ensuring that capable hand, experienced man, lover of all people, and the person who can create an enabling environment for you to make and ensure that your statements are heard and respected. Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase is elected Speaker come the next assembly. Thank you very much. I so appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Those are some live pictures from the Transcorp Hilton Abuja, where the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Idris Wase, who is from Plateau State in the north central region of the country. Don't forget what really happened. The APC has zoned that position in the National Assembly for the 10th National Assembly to the northwestern region of the country, and had put the name of Honorable Tajuddin Abbas as the nominee and the favorite of the party for that position ahead of the June official inauguration of the National Assembly and the election of the presiding officers. We might be hearing more from Honorable Idris Wase from that location just in the course of the program. So stick around with me, everyone. Well, let's tell you what is being happening in the villa, the presidential villa that he's. The wives of both the president-elect and President Muhammadu Buhari have been relating on what could be a handover note about the domestic and the running of the presidential villa. We understand that the First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, the wife of the President Muhammadu Buhari, says that they've since moved to the Glass House. This is a transition home for presidents that are leaving office within the presidential villa grounds until they leave office to usher in the new government or the new regime. And now we're seeing both women exchanging pleasantries, being welcomed into the villa. And earlier today, there was a tour of the presidential villa, the host being the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, taking Senator Oluremi Tinubu around what will be their home, all things being equal, based on the court case in front of the tribunal, sitting at the Court of Appeal. If he sits for 4 years, it will be their new home, himself and his husband, the president-elect, Bola Tinubu. Well, as we put our eyes on that, our eyes are also on some of your major political stories in the land today. There was a ruling of the FCT High Court stating that Mr. Julius Abure, who is the national chairman of the Labour Party, he stands suspended pending the determination of the substantive suit against Mr. Abure and some members of the Labour Party. We'll be hearing all the sides tonight and hoping to get an understanding of how this is panning out. The saga looks continue, and we'll be giving you insight into all of that tonight on the program. So stick around with me. Plus, we'll be hearing from Mr. Idris Wase. Why is he going ahead despite the position of the APC leadership and the president-elect on the zoning and the naming of those who are favorite for the party to become the presiding officers in the 10th National Assembly? All of these things we'll try to put together for you within the next 60 minutes. So stick around with me, everyone, because first and foremost, I need to serve you with your political roundup stories and bring you up to speed with what is happening across the country.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the former Vice President of Nigeria, Mr. Namadi Sambo, are asking party members to remain united and hopeful of victory at the tribunal. Both Mr. Abubakar and Sambo spoke at a reception ceremony for newly elected, serving and outgoing governors of the PDP in Abuja. Atiku urged the leadership of the PDP to come up with strategies that will enable the party take its dominant place in the country's politics again.
We should remain determined and focused in retrieving our mandate that has been stolen.
Meanwhile, the former Vice President Namadi Sambo is concerned about the spate of suspensions and expulsions of party members at the state level. He appealed to the acting national chairman of the party to intervene urgently, exploring all internal conflict resolution mechanisms.
The acting national chairman to look into what is happening in Kaduna State, because all the ingredients for trouble and problem in the party are being put in place.
The Edo State National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal panel has held its inaugural sitting in Benin City, the state capital. The chairman of the three-man panel of judges told the tribunal that the president of the Court of Appeal set up two panels to enable the tribunal dispose of all petitions before the court within the stipulated time, and assured all parties and their counsels that decisions of the court will be based on facts and evidence tendered before it. The Kano State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Zango Audu, has described the just concluded 2023 general election, as well as the supplementary polls in the state, as transparent and fair. Mr. Audu stated this during the post-election press conference that had in attendance security agencies, religious bodies, traditional rulers, civil society groups, and members of political parties. He attributed the success of the electoral process in Kano State to the combined efforts of the security agencies, who worked tirelessly to provide an enabling environment during and after the electioneering process.
I keep saying it was because of the stakeholders, it was because of the security. So I want to thank the security agencies, the police, the DSS, the military, and all the other agencies.
And the Yobe State Governor, Mr. Maimala Buni, is asking judicial officers in the state to be fair, just, and work harmoniously to ensure speedy justice. Governor Buni was speaking after administering the oath of office to Justice Adamu Gajere as Justice of the State High Court, along with Kashim Mohammed as Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal at the Government House in Damaturu, the state capital. He urged them to reverence God in their conduct because their appointments were based on merit.
I have no doubt that you will use your wealth of experience to execute the duties of your office with a high sense of responsibility and competence.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. Just before we get some more information about the National Assembly politics, especially that of the 10th National Assembly, let's look into the Labour Party leadership issue. So it was today at the FCT High Court. The court ruled this afternoon that Mr. Julius Abure stands suspended pending the determination of the substantive suit before the court. Well, the court has been challenged based on jurisdiction, and the court has said today that it has jurisdiction to entertain that matter and determine the crisis in the Labour Party. Don't forget that there was an initial criminal allegation against Mr. Julius Abure based on conduct and happenings within the party, which has led to the intervention of Lamidi Apapa and some of his other members of the NWC of the Labour Party, a matter that has degenerated into a full-blown crisis within the Labour Party. Now, there are different groups within the party laying claims to the leadership, but today, the ruling of the court has given yet another dimension into what is ongoing in the Labour Party leadership saga. Let's take a listen now to some of the lawyers, this time around, those who are on the side of Mr. Lamidi Apapa.
The court today pronounced very clearly that when a political party is in peace, they do not need the intervention of court. But once there is a crisis in the political party, a crack that makes it impossible, that makes the center no longer to hold, that invitation by any of the interested party for the court to intervene will be entertained by court. So contrary to their position that the court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the matter, contrary to their position that the matter is not justiciable, my Lord in its infinite wisdom today said no, that the world cannot watch the party crumble without coming or stepping in to intervene. So today we thank the court most sincerely for dismissing the frivolous preliminary objection they brought to challenge the jurisdiction of the court.
They brought the objection on 5 basic grounds. And the court today, in a very erudite and succinct ruling, dismissed them on every point of the objection. The court held that the case before it is competent and that the court has the jurisdiction to determine the right of the parties as sought in the originating summons.
So you heard the lawyers. These lawyers are on the side of Mr. Lamidi Apapa. Now, but Mr. Lamidi Apapa himself today seems to be very confident based on the ruling of the court. Don't forget, it's a ruling, not a judgment. So what does this mean? There are those implications that these also have on the leadership of the Labour Party. Let me allow you to listen to Mr. Lamidi Apapa. Seems so much, there's some confidence coming out of that courtroom.
Now, I want to tell the whole world that come next Friday, the real suit will start when the issue of forgery, conspiracy, and so on and so forth will commence. And from there, we know if actually that offense has been committed or not. I want to use this opportunity again to tell the whole world that the tribunal that is going on, I want to invite all the lawyers that are in charge, that are representing Labour Party, that they should come for briefing. They should come and give me updates of what is happening in that tribunal within the next 48 hours. Because right now, I'm the person on the driver's seat, and I'm fully in charge. I'm giving this opportunity for them to know that this is the...
You heard what Mr. Lamidi Apapa says. He said he's fully in charge. And in fact, he's asking the lawyers that have been briefed by Mr. Peter Obi and the Julius Abure leadership to come and brief him because according to him, he's fully in charge. But this is not sitting down well with Mr. Julius Abure and his friends in the leadership. And they say that they don't even have confidence in the court to get justice there. But let me allow you to listen to, this is one of the spokesperson of the Labour Party. Take a listen to him.
We are here simply to request for the judge to decline jurisdiction, but in his own utmost wisdom, he said that the court will not decline jurisdiction, that he will go ahead and hear the matter. So we have fixed Friday, next week Friday, 19th of May, for the continuation of the matter. And that is where we are. But I can assure you and assure Nigerians and the teeming supporters of Labour Party that we will appeal this ruling. Judgment, yeah. It's not judgment, ruling. We will appeal the ruling because we know that we will never get justice from this court.
All right. say they will not get justice. That is what Mr. Julius Abure and those who are on his side believe, and that's what they think is going on. But there was some kind of solidarity march to the National Secretariat of the Labour Party today by some civil society groups and some supporters of the Labour Party. They marched to the Secretariat of the party, and at that march, Mr. Julius Abure has been speaking about this matter. I'll allow you to listen to him.
Say we are law-abiding citizens. We have tried and we have obeyed the court's restraining order, and by today the judge gave a ruling assuming jurisdiction. I need to make it abundantly clear that the substantive matter itself has not started. There was a motion, there was a preliminary objection to the jurisdiction of the court, and the court today assumed jurisdiction. And for me, I'm ready to go on appeal. In the next few hours, we will be submitting our notice of appeal to the court, and we'll remove all the matters from that court and take it to the Court of Appeal.
So you heard him. So where do they go? Where do they go from here? And those who understand the leadership tussle and some of the ongoings in the Labour Party, because this also has some criminal dimension, because there are allegations of criminal dimension into all of this. This one is alleging, the other side are also responding to all of this matter. In case, I guess that's where this all originated from. Let's hear from the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party, Mr. Kainde Edun. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Edun, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
To be clear, you are the one on the you are on the side of Mr. Julius Abure.
Yes.
So the ruling of the court today says Mr. Julius Abure stands suspended. Is that it?
Well, by implication. The court never said that, but by implication. The basis is the court granted an order earlier. That was on April 5. The court granted an order restraining Julius Abure and 3 others from parading themselves as officers of the party. So that order did not sit down. That order, we have to remember, that order is ex parte, without hearing from the other side.
The one in the FCT or the one in Benin?
The one in the High Court of the FCT.
What about the one in Benin? Was it an ex parte too?
It's also another ex parte. Now, the difference between the two, the other ex parte in Benin is clearly in order.
So just for the sake of our viewers who are watching, ex parte is a Latin term, which means that if there are conflicts between two people, one person goes before the judge and asks for an injunction. An injunction is an order of court to say, please do not let his injury be meted on me until you hear the substantive matter. So he's saying, let the other party hold on. But usually you go before the court together, the two parties involved. But when you get an ex parte, it means that without the other party involved, appearing before the judge, for the sake of our viewers and those who are non-legal minds. So, so you can go ahead, just to clear that.
Now, other ex parte are usually granted to preserve the rest. That is, to maintain the peace. And it's usually granted to somebody who has a legal right. Now, another ex parte is supposed to make sure that there is peace, that the person who has a legal right, that is the person who is the national chairman, who is in charge, who is in control, the other is supposed to protect that person until we hear what you have brought before the court.
Equitably.
Yes, that is it. That is the order in Benin. It is to preserve the right that, okay, you stop whatever noise you are making, stop your fury, stop your complaints until I hear from both sides. Maintain peace. Let the person who is in charge, let the person who is in power remain in power.
The criminal charge that was leveled against Mr. Abure and a few members of the leadership of the party, which court is hearing that one?
There is no charge. That is the truth. All this is so much noise. There is no charge against any leader of the party.
No forgery charge.
No charge. No charge has been filed. And you don't try a criminal matter by originating summons. A criminal matter is tried by a charge being filed in court, either by the police or somebody who has an authority to institute to file a charge in court.
But there was a petition.
No charge has been filed. Yes,
there was a petition.
Anybody can write a petition. Any petition can be investigated. It is now the people who are investigating the petition, like the police, to find out that yes, we have a case against this person and take the matter to court. Till today, there has been no charge
against Mr. Julius Abure.
No charge against the National Secretary Umar Farouk. No charge against the National Treasurer Olusegun Opada. No charge against Clement Ojukwu.
So why all this furore?
All this noise is just to mislead the public and mislead the Honorable Court. They went to that court making allegations of crime which are unfounded because there is no charge. These people have never been tried. Somebody that has not been tried cannot be found guilty. They have never even been tried. They have not been questioned.
So the prayers is that there are petitions and there are speculations, because not until when a court of competent jurisdiction rule on a matter, especially issues of criminal dimension, is still in the realm of speculation.
Yes.
So when they went to court and said, look, my lord, this is happening in our party, and there is this allegation, and we suspect that this person has done this, and they brought forth some document which they said these are forged documents and done on behalf of the party, and we suspect that there are some criminal behaviors that have gone on in the party, and this is the basis on which they prayed to court that Mr. Abure and co should step aside. But their own thinking, I mean, because I've spoken to them a few times, is that, look, if there are these petitions against you, why don't you present yourself on this matter and let the court decide and step aside? Does it make sense to you that there is a need to step aside?
Doesn't make any sense. These are unfounded allegations. These things never happened. If somebody has been alleged to have committed the crime, he's presumed innocent. That's Nigerian law. He's innocent until his guilt is proved. In fact, the process of even proving the guilt of this has not started. Nobody has filed any charge against them. These are just trump-up allegations that were placed to just mislead the Honorable Court. Unfortunately, the Honorable Court was misled to grant that ex parte order. We are dissatisfied but we wanted to say, okay, let us place our objection before the court. That was the essence of preliminary objection, for the court to see why that court lacks power to look into all these things. If anybody wants to try a person, we should file a charge. If the police want to try,
one of the prayers is that challenging the jurisdiction of the court on this matter is whether the court has the power, or has the jurisdiction rather, to entertain a matter involving the internal crisis of the party.
Yes, jurisdiction is actually the power of a court to hear and determine a matter that is.
But the court has said it has jurisdiction.
Yes, but we believe that the court lacks power, and that is why we are now appealing to the Court of Appeal to look at that. This court lacks power. We are dissatisfied with the decision of the court to say he has power.
Have you appealed the matter?
Yes.
When did you do that?
An appeal has been filed today.
Today?
Records will be transmitted.
At the Court of Appeal?
Yes. Let the line justice of. Let record will be transmitted next week. The appeal has been filed. That's the process. Records will be transmitted. Let the Court of Appeal look at it, whether that court actually has power to hear and determine this matter. Our opinion is that the court lacks power. Though the court has expressed a contrary opinion, well, that is the opinion of the court. But we believe that opinion is wrong, and we are challenging it, and we are saying to the court lacks power to even look at this matter in the first place.
Okay, so you are of the opinion that a matter involving the internal wrangling within a party should not be judicially reviewed. Is that the position of your side?
The truth is that a political party, just like any voluntary organization, you voluntarily submitted yourself to be a member of that organization, and you must abide by the rules, by the regulations of that organization, by the constitution of that organization. And a party is supreme over its affairs. And if a party says, this is my national chairman, that is the national chairman, that's what the party has said. Nobody has a right. A political party is not a place where you seize power or where you hijack power. There are procedures.
But when there is a conflict of how and manner, or in the manner in which things should progress within an association such as a political party,
yes,
where do you suppose that the matter should be taken to?
In as much as that party has done all the things that has done in accordance with its constitution, the courts cannot interfere. It is only when a political party is flouting its own constitution, the court will say, okay, this constitution, if whatever has been done has been in accordance with the constitution, then there's no way.
But Mr. Lamidi Apapa says he is now the chairman. That's what the court says. It's valid. What he says valid today.
That court has never said Lamidi Apapa is the national chairman, and that issue is not even before the court.
What made him to infer so?
They are just creating problem. They just want to create some confusion. They are being paid. They are hired agents. They are hired lists. What they want to do? There is a momentum now in Nigeria.
That is the word going around.
Yes,
that they are being paid.
Yes.
Give us an understanding of that dimension.
The dimension is there is a momentum now in Nigeria. The masses of Nigeria, they have taken their own destiny in their own hands, and they are ready to cause a change. This momentum is making some people uncomfortable. Those who are benefiting from the status quo, those who are benefiting from the old order, where people dictate to people, that old order, some people are comfortable with it because they are enjoying it. But now the masses of Nigeria, they have moved. These are an exodus. And there is a momentum. And they are afraid. Why they are attacking the party now was because formerly, they didn't take the party too seriously. But they have seen what the party is doing. And they now believe that, let us try to scotch you this momentum. Let us try to
on the Julius Abure side, the belief is that Lamidi Apapa and the rest are being paid. That's what you said.
Yes, they are being paid.
By who? Who is paying them?
Political opponents, of course. There are some political parties who are afraid.
There are 18 political parties.
Yes, it will be the major ones.
Who are those?
The APC, majorly.
Are the ones funding?
Yes. Now, this is...
So you think... So your belief and your accusation tonight is that the APC, according to you, is funding Lamidi Apapa to scuttle or to distort or to dismember the Labour Party. Is that your position tonight?
Yes, all the political parties that stole votes in the last election, APC and some PDP in some areas, who stole the votes of a Labour Party, now we are now at the tribunal. And they are seeing the way we are going. They are seeing that we are going to win most of our cases at the tribunal. And they have seen that, how do we do it? Can we weaken this movement? Can we slow them down?
Do you have evidence of this allegation?
They have said it. They have been writing to tribunals to withdraw cases. Lamidi Apapa has signed letters to the tribunal that say that Labour Party is withdrawing. You know, but this is it's all a joke. There's no way they can get away with it.
Is that the evidence of money taken?
Yes, they have written. How will they do it? They have been paid to do it. How will they write letters to tribunals withdrawing petitions filed by the party? They thought they could do it, but that is ignorant. Because when the petition is filed, apart from the council who filed the petition signing the petitioners also sign. Now, if the petitioners have signed, the petitioner including the party, somebody has signed on behalf of the party, how can an external person who has no legal authority
Mr. Edun, I assume because you're a lawyer,
yes,
you know the ramification of the allegation that you have leveled. I mean, and I'm asking for the evidence.
There's circumstantial evidence. Let me tell you, circumstantial evidence can be so strong and cogent.
So primary.
Yes, can be so strong and cogent as to be believed. Circumstantial evidence can be so cogent.
And do you have this as real as it comes?
Yes, we can see it. How will they write? If you say you are the national chairman of a political party, though he's claiming that wrongfully, he's claiming that ignorantly, because there is a procedure by which you emerge. Nobody, even in that court that they are, that the issue of Lamidi Apapa is not in that court.
All right, just hold on for me, Mr. Edun, and let me take up this business for a moment. Just please give me some few minutes.
Okay.
I need to speak with the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, the business of the other matter that we have before us tonight on the program. There you have it. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Idris Wase, who today officially declared his interest to becoming the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Honorable Wase, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. I know it's been a busy day for you, especially speaking on the sidelines of your event today at the Transcorp Hilton. Give us an understanding of why you decided to go ahead against the will of your party. The party has said, We did not zone it to the North Central. You are from Plateau State, the North Central region, and the party has said our favorite, our nominee is Tajuddin Abbas.
Well, Sharon, thank you for having me. First of all, I appreciate you. I thank you and thank Nigerians. I think if you read the letter communicating the proposal from the National Working Committee of our party, they never say it cast in stone. Rather, they said these are people they have chosen an advisory. They used the word advisory, and they did mention that this is for further consultation. To Sharon and Nigerians, I want you to be aware that the Nigerian Constitution is very clear. Section 14.3 of the 1999 Constitution stipulates, as amended, that the composition of government of Nigeria or any of its agencies can be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria, thereby ensuring that there is no predominance of persons from a peace or ethnic in that government or any agencies. The main thrust of that provision is to bring cohesion and then national development and peaceful coexistence. And I want to believe that if you just listen, you take the position of the constitutional provision and you apply it, you will now know that we have 6 presiding officers, 2 from the executive president and vice president, then you have 4 at the National Assembly. And by providence and nature, we have now 6 geopoliticals in the country. It means then every political zone should have 1 presiding officer that will stand for it. And that's why I think the state consultation, yes. 2, it is against the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I want to believe that for the performance of the North Central, we are justifiably sufficiently equipped and enough, apart from our own contribution to the party, to believe that something should be done. And I think they are going to address it. I want to believe that the party is not, it's a party that is listening. And our leaders are listening people.
Let me come to the issue. I'll come to the issue of zoning, but there is this important matter that I'd like you to touch on. Did you consult with the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, about your ambition? Because it's assumed that you, as a deputy speaker, by matter of convention, since you are interested in becoming speaker, you could have been given a chance of forced refusal. Do you feel that was needed?
Well, Sharon, let me say that just like I said during the declaration, it is contribution in the flow of the House and making the House vibrant, and then the position it has taken today in terms of respect, I think I contributed sufficiently. In terms of party discipline, I have done my best, and I'm doing my best, and I'll continue to do my best. In terms of protecting the interests of our country, I think I'm number 1, and I will continue to do that because my understanding of being National Assembly is for service, and if God gives you this kind of opportunity, one should appreciate and thank him. I want to tell you categorically clear that I consulted with him. I consulted with him. We had a meeting in his house, and I showed my interest. Even prior to this, I want to tell you that we had agreed even with him, assuming the party would allow us, that is before election, myself and himself, to proceed, because all I am after is national development and cohesion. And I believe that we have given good leadership, myself and himself, to our country and to our chambers. And that was why I thought, if that opportunity is there, and that he is no longer interested or because of other issues, I want to believe in any developed democracy, the first you do is look at their ranking. Americans send their best continuously into parliament for what is called pork barrel, what they will attract. It's not just the pork barrel, it's the sitting arrangement in every parliament. When you see the people in the front of the meeting, they are the generals who have turned in or have returned to the house severally. And I want to believe that having done so well in terms of contribution, I believe I deserve the right of first refusal.
Honorable Wase, do you feel betrayed by your very good friend that you have worked closely with for 4 years, Femi Gbajabiamila, in this regard?
No. I cannot feel betrayed. It's politics we are doing. Everybody is trying to protect his own interest. Maybe he might have, assuming he's the one who's doing good. I don't want to believe that. I say at times he's the one doing it because I have had discussions with him. He has told me If the party will zone to our own area, he will definitely support me. That shall be his own words. But then, being in position within the hierarchy of the party where discussions are held, I think it is also a responsibility to guide the party very properly, to advise them to say that the procedure and the process they want to take is not the right course. I hold on by malice, and I don't think I should do. I'm a leader, and I think we are human. Everybody may be wrong to that kind of fault. But I want to believe that the right thing will be done.
Well, Honorable Wase, with your move today, don't you see it as a defiance that despite the party's position, you're still going ahead? Could this be termed as a disloyalty to the
defiance?
party?
No, I am a very, very loyal party member. I said it during the declaration that in 2015, Chewon and Nigerians should get to know that I was elected by my colleagues, signed for me to be chief whip of the House. And when prevailing reasoning came to allow me, to ask me to step down, I did. And that was how Adodogwa emerged as chief whip. You can ask him. Anytime I see him at that time, I used to tell him I am the authentic chief whip because I was the one that had the mandate. Because of my loyalty to the party, because of my loyalty in terms of being governance, good governance, I had to defer and step down for him to be there. And you recall, I became deputy leader of the House, middle of the end of the regime, for 2 years after the demise of our brother, Honorable Buba Jibril. 2019, I suppressed and I made intention. I was very clear I was going to make it. But because of reasoning and wisdom, counseling, and interest from our party leaders, from the president of the country, General Muhammadu Buhari, who we all respect very well, and to our leader and president-elect today, Aswaji, called me alongside with the other governors, Erufai, and many party leaders, to ask me to step down. And I willingly did that. I did step down for him. So you should understand my own antecedents. It's for good governance, it's collective bargaining. My background is not that kind of antagonism, and I don't believe in antagonizing my party. I will always do my best in the interest of our own country, and I want to believe that the language in the letter given out by the National Working Committee is sufficient reason for me to proceed with my own ambition for becoming Speaker. I believe that they will come and address this matter. There is no way we want to do justice to a country. We are a nation whereby every entity is sensitive to all the things that are happening. And I think they cannot be insensitive. My party men and leaders are people who have contributed to the development of democracy. They fought for democracy. And alongside, they were in the trenches. Some of them had to leave the country because of impunity then. That didn't stop them. And I want to believe now that they're back and go to the presidential leadership. I'm a very glad and happy person that I'm dealing with people who know the terrain, who understand very well. The president-elect was a former senator, apart from being governor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The vice president-elect is a sitting senator who understands the language and terrain very well. My chairman of party was a former senator. National secretary of my party was a former senator. So I think we should not overheat the system. Mistake could be done. And maybe at times that is what they call in the information and security circle. They want to push out the security and information to test the ground. Some people may have done that. But I want to believe that the party have a good intention to unite Nigeria and ensure. And if it is in terms of contribution, why would the North Central not have, like I'm talking to you, I've said it over and over, if Southeast would be considered in terms of contribution to the party for a position, I think North Central deserve more. We have 5 governors out of 6. We deliver a very good margin percentage to the party. And we have done exceedingly well in terms of uniting and galvanizing the party. And the party will benefit more when they have Wase as the Speaker of that entity. Because of my experience, I've presided over the House. I'm not coming to do a new job.
Honorable, you are now a perpetual man who steps down. Maybe it's another time to think about stepping down. Well, I mean, that's on a lighter note. But let me take a quick break, Deputy Speaker. But when we come back, there are a few questions that I'd like you to answer to able to tell Nigerians tonight about your ambition to becoming the Speaker of the 10th National Assembly, an incident or event that may unfold in June this year. But stay with me, everyone, because when we come back from the break, our conversation with Honorable Idris Wase will continue. Stay with us. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So looking at the situation in the National Assembly, especially the politics, a lot of things will happen in June this year. But pending when the National Assembly is going to be inaugurated for the 10th National Assembly, a lot of politicking is going on. Now, when the APC made an announcement that it has zoned the presiding officer position in the Senate to the South for the Senate president, and will put a name to it and saying Godswill Akpabio is the party's favorite for that position, and Barao Jibrin from the Northwest, precisely from Kano, is his favorite for the Deputy Senate presidency, and for the speakership role, they named Honorable Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna State Northwest for that position, and Honorable Ben Kalu from Abia State South region for the Deputy Speaker. But a lot of reactions have trailed it, and there are meetings, orchestrating, going on. There was a meeting today, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas with the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima met some lawmakers-elect. And allow you to listen to what was said at that event today. First from Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, and you hear also from Senator Kashim Shettima, who is the Vice President-elect.
After June 13, if God makes it, we will be the ones in the realm of leadership, that the National Assembly will be exceptionally lucky. Because in the history of democracy in Nigeria, there has never been a time where you have the number one and the number two being products of the National Assembly. This is the very first time. Our president was a senator. He understands the system very well. You are just an outgoing senator, or by virtue of the election, he's still an outgoing senator. You understand the system very well. So we believe synergy, working in a mutually beneficial manner, will be easy for us, because the language you speak is the language you speak as well. So I want to assure you that we will work harmoniously together, we will cooperate in the best way possible to ensure that Nigeria wins all the time. It will be a win-win situation for both the executive and the legislature.
My own duty, my own assignment is to reach out to all tendencies so that we shall have a rancor pre-10th assembly. As I said earlier, I've started the engagements. I will sustain that engagement. And locally, I will a little bit of influence and respect in the Federal House of Representatives. Members have a very long memory. If you are looking for somebody who has a long memory, get a member of the House of Reps. The warm handshake that you gave him 8 years ago as a governor, he will not forget about that. I want to thank most of the major dramatists personally. I don't want to mention names, but I know of someone here who has been hammering me on Tajuddin Abbas. But at the risk of not causing discord within the family, I won't mention names. But I want to once again thank you for deeming it fit. But this is a work in progress.
So you heard them. Let's get back to the conversation with Honorable Idris Wase. Honorable, from what you see and what you heard and these going-ons that it has been happening since the party made an announcement, it does look like the stakeholders who made that decision, they moved on, and they're trying to repair any kind of fracture that could have happened since then ahead of June.
Well, so when there is a structure that when you build and the foundation is very faulty, it will be very difficult to repair. And I give you an example. You cannot build a house, for instance, in a quicksand and expect that kind of structure to stand. What's happened is that kind of situation. And I want to believe that you listen to the vice president-elect, you listen to Tajudeen. Tajudeen himself is cleverly and very clever. He never said, I'm the speaker in that statement. And he knows he's not the speaker because the election of speaker is not done. And even if we want to build consensus, my brother, that is not how consensus are built. You build consensus alongside bringing people and interested parties to discuss and share a lot of ideas and see reasons. And just like I mentioned to you when I stepped down on other two occasions, it has to do with discussions. When there's no discussion and reasoning prevailing, there can be no be called consensus. We are Democrats progressive. And I want to believe the vice president, you also listen to him very carefully. Work in progress in consultation, work in progress in looking at the political balancing and other issues that have not come up. When they did that, maybe they didn't foresee what is now happening in the country. But the country cannot be allowed to get burned because you can see the agitation. The parties have been dealing with a lot of complaints, and each day they are receiving. Would they not allow the party not to progress so that in 2027 we'll have a good, smooth and good sense? I believe that we want to have a leadership that will stand the test of time, that will be giving the cooperation. I mentioned in my own business. There's no person that has given better cooperation in that parliament. It's not for me to mention in the public domain. I know what sacrifices I have done to stabilize, to ensure that this parliament is what it is today in terms of.
But Honorable Wase, I mean, if you look at it,
my colleagues are very much aware of that.
Yeah, if you look at things, with the experience of Bola Tinubu, a former senator, and experience of Kashim Shettima, Femi Gbajabiamila, Oluremi Tinubu, these are former lawmakers who understand the politics and the internal horse trading that happens when a leadership is about to be formed. Don't you think there's a lot of wisdom that has gone into it? Your party national chairman, a former a very experienced lawmaker, the national secretary of your party, also an experienced lawmaker. All of this put together, don't you think that they've thought about this very clearly and they have their facts together as to the decision they made?
Thank you very much, Seun. You see, the most perfect person on earth that we know may be an angel. Anything called human work, you should expect some errors and deviations. That is part of human error. I do not believe that there was a thorough discussion on that. If there was a thorough discussion, the first thing to do was to place the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the table to look at what are the provisions in terms of what they were about to do. And I want to believe that I'm a civil engineer from the background, but because of my interest in equitable distribution, I chaired Federal Character Committee in the House of Representatives for 8 years. And this is what is informing me to tell you that no portion or part of this country will be left, and then you have peace. No. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our leader, our president, we know him. He's somebody who harnesses resources, who build people, who build capacity, who believe in the unity of our country. In his house, there is nothing called religion. In his house, there is nothing called tribalism. In his house is somebody that we know that he is a Nigerian and a thorough Nigerian.
Seems to be some technical glitches there with the connection with Honorable Idris Wase, the Deputy Speaker, who today officially declared his interest to become the Speaker of the 10th National Assembly. Of course, he's been telling us his reaction to some of the internal workings of the party based on the position of the party on zoning and the name that has been released officially for the presiding officer positions. Of course, when we wonder where next, some of them, the likes of Idris Wase, the likes of Aliyu Betara, Yusuf Gadi, Mariam Onuoha, Where are they going to turn at this very critical time? But let me ask you, Deputy Speaker, I see that your connection is back. Where do you go from here? Would you still go on, even if the party insists that this is what we are going to take to the National Assembly, this particular position that we have? If they do not change their mind and they insist on the day of the election, would you still go ahead, or you be a party man to step down? And as you have always considered and stepped down, would you go in that direction, or what would you do?
Why do you want to predict and project my leaders as if they are insensitive people? They are not. They are very sensitive people. They are Nigerians. They are leaders who believe in the unity of our country. And I don't want to go to the negative. They will do the needful. Maybe because I want to reason. But I want to tell you...
What if they don't? What if they don't? I imagine that they must have had their facts together before they put out that position. Don't you think so? I don't see any of them as flippant people. I see them as methodical people who are very careful about their decision. It does look to me that, in fact, coming out with this position early enough is to test the waters and try to salvage the situation before the election, so that every aggrieved person who they would have doused the tension ahead of the election in June. Don't you think so?
No, they are not flippant people. I know they are not, and that's why they will do the right thing, because I believe that the first assignment they will carry on assumption of office is to soar to out of office. And in that out of office, they will say they will respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in that Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there's that provision of Section 14.4. Will you expect them to go against the provision of the Constitution? I don't think you have to be fair to them. You have to be fair to them. They are very excellent people that I will all respect in this country. So that is sufficient ground for me to believe that they will not proceed in the negative, the other direction.
Deputy Speaker,
they will rather come to the correct direction.
Deputy Speaker, just in 30 seconds, we need to go.
Yes.
Should the party insist on this position, what is one single danger that you think could happen?
The party went around the country to enhance votes, and they got votes from the central. They don't have any reason to sideline the North Central, and so the party will not do that. I want to believe. I'm very positive.
What I mean, is there any danger? Does it have any implication?
We have contributed. No. They will not even do that. Forget about the danger. There's nothing called danger, because that will not happen.
Okay.
The right thing will be done.
I love your optimism, but it's a very strange optimism coming from a very experienced politician, and I know that you have been very diplomatic tonight, hoping that every sense of reasoning will be considered. Thank you so much, Honorable Idris Wase. And I know you're a very dogged man, and I wish you the very best in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's close on this note on the Labour Party leadership crisis. Mr. Kehinde Edun, your parting shot tonight. If this whole thing does not go in the way of Mr. Julius Abure, what do you think is the imminent danger that lies ahead?
It will sure go in the way of Barrister Julius Abure. Apapa has no legal right, has not acquired any legal right. The court has not said so. The court has only been misled to give that order. We are appealing that order, and we are sure the Court of Appeal will support our position that that court lacks power to even hear them at all.
Could there be a political resolution to this problem?
Well, in politics, there will always be interplay of ideas and all that. But I found that some of these people are so unscrupulous.
Do you think that is
the party is better? That the party is better? That yes, surely. But they don't know that this is beyond Peter Obi. Peter Obi himself knows that it is the people of Nigeria, the ordinary people of Nigeria, that are behind him, and he's confident about this. You cannot put the people down forever.
Right.
The people have risen up, and the people they now understand their power, and they are behind Peter Obi, they are behind Julius Abure, and there is no way you can put the whole of Nigerians down.
Kehinde Edun,
thank you.
National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party. Thank you so much indeed for coming out tonight.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's our show for tonight, and perhaps for the week as the week comes through an end. I'll see you on Sunday at 8 p.m. I'm sure, Kimale. God bless Nigeria.